Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build an efficient starter farm. In case, you're out farming on this little field right here, it's kind of inefficient, uses a lot of resources, and this one right here, although better, just ain't quite to what you want. Then I have the solution for you that will save you all the time and resources for maximizing your crop yields. And even better, it doesn't even take a lot of space because it's mostly vertical. However, before I begin, remember, please like and subscribe, and without further ado, onto the tutorial. Now, for this builds palette, we're going to be using all variants of stone bricks. You get the cracked ones by smelting normal ones, cobblestone in its mossy variant, and azalea leaves, although you can use other ones such as cherry blossom leaves when those release, oak leaves, spruce leaves, dark oak, most of them work. Then, we want to grab our normal building blocks, which include oak and spruce planks, along with oak logs with their stripped variant, then glass, and some waxed copper blocks. These copper blocks will act as the accents, and then we want to get ourselves a decently wide area. This place right here has 4 10 by 10 plots with 5 by 5 areas in between them. So you need around 27 by 27 ground area to build. And although that seems very large, still, if you have villagers, they're going to go through this quite quickly. So might as well get a lot of them. And then once you have them all stacked up, you have an aesthetically pleasing place. And also an area to build a base under here in case you need some temporary shelter. Otherwise, you just want to build this area, and every couple blocks or so, place down some spruce planks to act as dividers. Now, with our foundation here, we can start texturing it. And although a lot of it's going to get covered up by leaves still, it's important to do. First off, we can designate a small area where we just don't have to do it, because that's going to be the staircase up, unless you want to make a proper entrance. So you either just put down a door, or you have to texture the whole thing. And I'm just going to designate this area with cracked bricks. From here, we want to go throughout the outside and place down some mossy and cracked stone bricks throughout the foundation. You could also do this from the inside, although you're going to be texturing parts that will not be visible. So be careful about that if you're trying to conserve resources. Otherwise, you just go through, and when you're done, we can start putting in some stairs, because that will provide a glimpse in, and behind those stairs, we place down the cobblestone to give it the idea that it's been worn down over time, and there's cobblestone on the inside. With the foundation textured, the next step is pretty simple. We replace some parts with stairs, and like this, we can just add a little bit of cracked texturing without having to use the cracked block themselves. And on some parts, you might also want to use slabs, because here's the thing. Have you considered the following? Yeah, you can do that. And it actually looks really cool. Behind these, you place down some cobblestone. It's mossy in this area, so mossy cobble. But still, do that all around. And now you have a really nice looking foundation. Don't forget to put some azalea bushes in front of them. Simple like this, and texture them with some flowering azalea leaves. Now we have a completed foundation. Looks really pretty. You can see it's really just a sign of being a good builder, and I said starter, but this is just what I do normally. So you can see it's pretty easy concept to learn, although it takes a while. From here, we just build the staircase up, same design as the foundation, and we put stairs on the tops and bottoms of the blocks placed, except the topmost block. And then we are ready to build our first layer. From here, inside of your complex, you need some 9 by 9 squares on the inside. So count out 9 blocks, and then This takes 80 blocks per square inside of the whole complex. We just, square. Nothing else to really say. We just fill it in, besides the middlemost block. The central block will be a water block. Under it, place down something inconspicuous such as cobblestone. Fill it all in, till the soil, plant the crops, and now we already have a functioning farm. From here, we have our wheat growing, and this is layer 1, which means we have to do this several more times. However, before I show you how to replicate this, we need to handle the foundation's final part, the framing and the copper. Get yourself some spruce or whatever dark block you chose, and what you want to do is go around on every pillar and place down a copper block, going forwards like this. And you want to make it look like it's more fortified on the bottom, because as we get rid of this on top, it creates the illusion that the foundation's, strong, the rest of the building's more pretty. So go through it like that. On the bottom of them, you have some stairs wrapping around, and, that's about it. The bottom foundation is complete. We can see we have some copper designs. You can pause the video to get an exact look of what I've done, because, I'd advise you to make your own designs, but still, it can be pretty tough, so if need be, copy this. And then, for this layer, we want to have some trim around the walls, stripped oak logs, and then some glass panes. Although the blocks might look better to some, the panes would probably just be better in general, even though it's harder to place. Ignoring that part, well, we just fill in the walls, and we use some stone bricks in these middle pathways, creating a 3x3 square in the center for our spiral staircase later on. Now, we have the majority of this place done, and although this is supposed to be 4 floors after all, still, here's the thing. Once you do the first 4, the rest of them are practically copies, which means structure blocks. But if you're in survival, it's still a pretty simple process. Build your spiral staircase upwards, and go maybe up like 20 or so blocks. It's going to be shorter, but better be safe. And you want to go on the outside, and whenever you make your between pillars, instead of using full blocks like down here, which, by the way, put stairs in between these, looks better, you want to use trap doors, so that way the smaller accents look, a little bit more grand, while still maintaining a small size, and making sure the foundation looks a little bit more bulky. That's a little bit to take in, so, of course, this is a video. Just to wait and see what I do. Most of our exterior is done, and we can see, with some spruce planks, trapdoors, and more accents, but a little bit more sparse with a different design, we have something going on. Well, there really isn't much else to cover. On your inside, make sure that you have proper lighting. Setting up a little light post like that is a good idea. I recommend making the ceiling slabs, and you can even punch out this block right here, because, the water could be just flowing through, but that's an aesthetic choice up to you. I'm going to include it anyways, but essentially, all you need to do is make sure the light level is 7 or above, because if it's lower than that, then the crops will just straight up disappear, and also not grow. So be careful about that. For reference, if you don't have enough light, something like this could happen. Yeah, a little unpleasant. Therefore, make sure you have enough light. We have 4 layers now, 1 for each crop. I have not changed out the crops yet, but still, you can get the general idea. If you're using a structure block, of course, clear out any possible imperfections, and of course, your spiral staircase is going to be messed up quite a bit by this. So, rebuild the spiral staircase if using structure blocks, swap out the crops, and if you did it right, there should be water heading through all the layers. You should do this in survival as well because, if there's ever a creeper in the middle, alternate ways up, and, it saves on time because you only need 4 buckets. Our layers are complete, all imperfections have been smoothed out, lanterns on top, and now we have a completed efficient farm complex that's pretty easy to build for beginners. You can see, nice textured foundation, followed up by a very efficient design, although some parts are lacking a little on the lighting front. Still, a little bit of troubleshooting and that will be no issue at all. On the other floors, we have more farms, and, grow all the crops here. Although this does not support melon and pumpkin, I'd advise different designs for those. I've already made a tutorial on how to make a beautiful pumpkin patch, although not necessarily efficient. But if you're having trouble with monsters attacking you while you're trying to, farm, or you're just running out of crops constantly, then this is the perfect build for you. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Regardless if you do so, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out. Our layers are complete, all imperfections have been smoothed out, lanterns on top, and now we have a completed efficient farm complex that's pretty easy to build for beginners. You can see, nice textured foundation, followed up by a very efficient design, although some parts are lacking a little on the lighting front. Still, a little bit of troubleshooting and that will be no issue at all. On the other floors, we have more farms, and, grow all the crops here. Although this does not support melon and pumpkin, I'd advise different designs for those. I've already made a tutorial on how to make a beautiful pumpkin patch, although not necessarily efficient. But if you're having trouble with monsters attacking you while you're trying to, farm, or you're just running out of crops constantly, then this is the perfect build for you. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Regardless if you do so, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.